Violence against women is a major global issue, with progress in the area of violence prevention slow and inadequate. The links between violence against women and vulnerability to HIV infection are well established. This is particularly true in Southern Africa, which has one of the highest HIV prevalence rates in the world. PCI, along with two partners in South Africa, the Western Cape and KwaZulu-Natal Networks on Violence Against Women, has been implementing a social mobilization program to reduce violence against women through changing the social norm of inaction in response to abuse to one of action.
Neighbors and residents across the wall are complaining about the drumming noise.
No, but you know, you're living in a community here.
It's such a noise. It's really, you can hear every single beat.
Yo, what the hell, man? You see exactly what I've done.
Violence against women is a reality in South Africa. Our mothers, sisters, daughters, and friends often experience violence or live under the threat of it.
We all know that violence against women is wrong, but because people are hesitant to act, violence has become normal in our communities. The challenge is we don't know what to do about violence against women, and we think we need to do it alone.
Confused by the situation, we do nothing. This state of inaction is the real challenge in ending violence against women.
The Prevention and Action movement arose from communities as a response to inaction against violence against women.
We are a part of a social movement with a vision for a future of our communities,
where violence against women is never justified,
not tolerated in our homes,
and where men and women are committed
to act in response to violence against women.
Together we stand to act on our beliefs.
Violence should never be met with silence.
It is never a woman's fault if she's raped.
Violence in a relationship is never a sign of love.
The desperate and declining social situation of women in South Africa saw a consolidated reaction from the local networks on violence against women in KwaZulu-Natal and the Western Cape.
I'm Lungiswa Memela. I'm the Executive Director of the Western Cape Network on Violence Against Women. Asiza kuma sijonge emapoliseni kuphela. Yaye asizukuma sijonge kwikhoti kuphela. Singazukuma sijonge kwimibutho yasekuhlaleni ukwenza umahluko. Yonke lonto ixhomeke kuthi xa sisonke kuba sonke sifuna amakhaya aphilileyo, amakhaya anoxolo, sifuna ii-communities eziphilileyo, sifuna i-society ephilileyo.
Everyone knows at least one person who has been affected by violence and the sense of helplessness at not being able to do anything about it. So how do we challenge the attitudes and the behaviors which foster it? We all need to lead by example by encouraging our communities to be part of a wider movement in taking action. Prevention in action is about preventing violence before it happens by taking action.
Through talking and sharing ideas, this group of activists drove the creation of a new social movement to address and sustain a new norm of action in South African communities. And so, the Prevention in Action movement was born.
Strong relationships have been initiated and forged with public and civil society partners, including churches, the police, and government departments in each province.
These sector relationships are essential to encourage a new era of action as the normal response to violence against women.
Within the model, the sector partners have appointed community engagers, known as CEs, that are trained up in order to engage with identified community influencers, known as CIs. CEs train up to 5 groups of up to 20 CIs per group.
CIs represent the direct link with the community by the community. They are equipped with knowledge and an interactive information toolkit which assists them in mobilizing the prevention in action movement within their communities.
The CIs, equipped with their toolkits, form prevention and action groups of 5 to 10 people they know personally and encourage them to enlist their commitment to join the movement.
So far, the tangible effect of the movement includes the spreading and promotion of the movement's symbol and slogan of action as the normal response to violence.
Regular meetings of action groups create a platform for the sharing of plans and ideas on taking action to prevent violence against women.
A key part of the prevention and action strategy is to amplify actions taken and to inspire members of the movement to adopt similar actions.
Prevention and action hands communities the megaphone to broadcast their real actions against women abuse and inspire further action.
Akakho nanto xa ingaselanga uthi xa eseleke wona umyeni belela xesha ke wona afuna uzithathela kuye ngenkani simcacisele ke ubhuti into yobana xa ezithathela ngenkani apha kusisi so ikwa yirape ke ngona leyo ayenzayo ke ngoku nayo
abantu besifazana banayo ilungelo xa engasafuni apha hayo so that's not sting amadoda afama sizama ulento ukuzibamba lapha xa engasafuni because ntoni
hamba naye ngamisa kena ubaba kwakhe masifika baba wakhe ngaxoxisana naye ukuthi akayeke ukuhlumeza umuntu wesifazane ngoba kwesibili
she's ready to go for the divorce and I did say that we will help.
Since inception, the prevention and action movement has realized the growth and influence it set out to achieve. Prevention and action is based on the premise that primary prevention will spill into the larger community and become the norm.
It's not enough for action to take place in communities. Actions also need to be broadcast back into the communities they come from to inspire further action. The movement consists of 12 sector partners between the 2 provinces. From these partners, 100 CEs have been appointed. These CEs have identified and trained 10,000 CIs, and to date, 50,000 to 100,000 prevention and action group members are potentially active in the movement.
Recognizing the need to further expand the prevention and action movement, build community ownership and integrate interested community members, prevention and action committees were formed by community engager organizers in 2012. These committees are made up of the most active community influencers, service providers and key stakeholders in the community, such as local government, street committees, the police and faith-based institutions. The primary purpose of a prevention and action committee is to set up and maintain a violence-free zone within a community in order to realize a shared vision of safe, healthy and violence-free streets, neighborhoods, parks and schools.
Violence-free zones are a manifestation of cooperative, community-driven action to prevent violence against women and other forms of gender-based violence. These are demarcated areas chosen by the prevention and action committees within residential neighborhoods where an entire community is committed to taking action against violence in a visible, public manner. These zones represent a conscious community commitment to always responding to violence against women with collective action.
In July 2012, driven by community members from various sector partners, violence-free zones were launched by the Prevention and Action Committees in KwaZulu-Natal and the Western Cape. The violence-free zone is represented in the public space through road signs and the painting of areas and objects in the Prevention in Action colors. In the domestic space, the zones are represented by stickers and signs in the windows of houses, as well as through the painting of fencing, gate posts, doorways, and windowsills. Community members wanting to take a stand in the personal spheres of their lives are offered stickers for their cars and backpacks, as well as wristbands, declaring themselves and their homes violence-free.
The activation and maintenance of these violence-free zones is contingent upon ongoing individual, family-level and community actions. These zones represent a new way of living for these communities and a new way of thinking.
Community buy-in of the violence-free zones is fostered through door-to-door campaigns to gain commitment to taking individual and family-level action in the community. The violence-free zones are community-owned and led, providing greater sustainability and replicability for the movement.
So if we are making the violence-free zone in that street, everybody who is in that street is committed to look after that street.
We use our violence-free zone to send a message to our community that violence in our zone will not be tolerated and will take action.
A shining example of the power of community buy-in to the prevention and action communities took place in Wentworth in KwaZulu-Natal. In this violence-ridden area, the movement partnered with local organizations Brothers for Life and the Taxi Association. Brothers for Life is an award-winning national men's platform and campaign where men focus on adjusting norms around masculinity. In South Africa, the Taxi Association represents a vital component to township life. Most people don't have their own transport, but need to travel long distances to get to their place of work and school. They rely on privately owned public transport systems and minibus taxis. Because of their important role, the Taxi Association holds considerable sway in communities, as well as a dedicated period of audience captivation each day, as they travel to and from work.
The Taxi Tour campaign customized media such as music and localized community-based skits that played on CDs to get people talking and encourage them to take action, all through the medium of the taxi.
Yo, it's getting heavy. Like a passion fruit. I need to do something.
Hey, what are you doing? Hiram's simple action of hooting was so effective, and it was most needed.
Through the Action Committee structure, Brothers for Life and Prevention and Action have partnered to co-create an initiative in Wentworth, where men can support each other in taking community-level action as agents for positive social change.
I want you to give the men a round of applause. To see men come out in numbers, willing to don some of this branded clothing, it gives me hope for the future. When you come to an event like this, I can guarantee you, your thinking will change. And that's what we want.
The aim is to provide a platform which combines the Prevention and Action Community Mobilization Movement and Brothers for Life platform, where men have a safe space to speak out and are empowered to take action to prevent gender-based violence.
We are marching today, working here to alert our communities at large that we don't want women abuse.
The violence-free zone colors, signs and logos have been painted on houses, walls and parks as a constant reminder of the vision and dedication of the community members. These ever-present reminders of a community's commitment to ending violence serve to encourage people to remain vigilant and to take action in response to violence against women.
We need to work on it ourselves because it's happening to us. You know, we are the ones that are suffering. So we need to take this and make it work, you know, and move it forward to, you know, and make it big.
Violence against women has long been endemic in South African society. But with the growth of the Prevention and Action movement and the creation of violence-free zones, we begin to see signs of an extraordinary and necessary shift in the way communities think about violence against women. We can see, for the first time, the beginnings of a collective refusal to tolerate gender-based violence and an unshakable commitment to opening our eyes, to speaking out, and to acting in response to violence against women.
To prevent gender-based violence. We can do it. Take action to prevent gender-based violence. Take action to prevent gender-based violence.
Do the right thing.
My brother, we can do the right thing.
We can do the right thing.